Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that took the time to watch, like, share and comment my first video. And for those who are here for the first time, my name is Runako Chadz or simply Ru. I am a fourth year medical student now. We recently got our exam results and I found out I was going into fourth year medicine. So, quite excited about that. Also, I've just been busy this past couple of days trying to braid my hair for the first time. I felt like, after being in this COVID isolation thing, I had to come out with at least one skill that I learned. And I decided to learn how to braid my own hair, even though I did it quite late after, things had started opening up. And you know what? It turned out okay. In other news, I've been getting so many questions from people asking me why the channel. So being a newbie on YouTube, I'd written what this page was about on the about section of the channel, and I just thought, everyone would look at it. So the other day someone told me that no one actually really looks at the about section. Therefore, to answer your questions, I decided to make this channel because coming to the UK and studying medicine, especially as an international student, has been very, very difficult, and I continue to face many challenges on my journey to become a doctor. So I just thought, it's a good idea for you guys to join me as I navigate through this journey in medicine and life in general. Now that we have that out of the way, I thought it would be a good idea to do a video about my detailed journey to medicine. So where do I start? I guess I'll start with IGCSEs. So as I explained before in my last video, during my IGCSEs I did 8 subjects. So these were maths, chemistry, biology, English, French, geography, history and ICT, and I ended up with 3 A stars, 4 A's and a B. So at this point, I felt like I had my path to medicine all set out because of my grades, but I didn't realize that this was going to be a challenge for me later on when it came to my application process. So those of you that are yet to apply to the UK for any degree, to apply to a university in the UK, you use a system called UCAS, and it usually gives you 5 choices. And for medicine, you can only apply to 4 medical schools, and your 5th one has to be a backup, so it can't be anything with medicine. When I applied, 2 of my universities, which were Liverpool and Kiel, told me that they couldn't accept me into medicine because I hadn't done physics. So they asked me to do biomed instead before I can get into medicine. So this was something that I wish I had thought about in year 9 when it came to choosing my subject. I remember my physics teacher telling me to do physics for my IGCSEs, and I just didn't want to do physics. The option I remember was between physics and history, and I chose history because I liked history. And then when it came to actually applying for medicine, I wish I had taken the time to really look at the requirements. I just thought, oh, you know what? It's something I did in IGCSEs. I just concentrated on the A-level requirements. So my advice to you, if you're planning to apply for anything, is do your research, because research is key. Don't waste your 2 options like I did. So moving on from IGCSEs, I went to do my AS and A-levels in Kenya. So there I think I started getting out of my shell a bit more. I got into things like becoming a deputy house captain, and I was a prefect, so I was really getting involved. And at the school where I was, there was this organization called Round Square, which was a big thing there. So through that organization, I got to do things like going to South Africa to build nurseries and renovate a church. And in my opinion, I think that these things really helped my application when it came to my personal statement really stand out. Speaking of my personal statement, I remember my career supervisors always telling me to be unique, because if you think about it, you're not the only person that's applying for medicine or whatever degree you're applying for. There are thousands of people out there who are applying for this degree, and many of the people get really good grades, but then the first impression you have to make to the admissions is through your personal statement. As an international student, I feel like we have a very big advantage when it comes to being unique. So for example, for me, I mean, I am Zimbabwean, but I technically grew up in Arusha, which is in Tanzania, and I'd never heard of anything called a laparoscopic surgery, which many people probably know it as a keyhole surgery, which is when you make small incisions for surgery instead of the traditional open surgery where you just make one big incision and you do whatever surgery you have to do. The pros of having a laparoscopic surgery are endless. It's safer, there's limited blood loss, there's less pain, better recovery times for patients. I mean, this video is not about that, but you know, something as simple as that, I found that really fascinating, and that's something that I talked about in my personal statement. And just knowing that there was something like that made me yearn to come to the UK to get the skills and training. So as for my work experience, I did it at a dental practice. I was meant to do it in a hospital initially, but I couldn't get a placement in the hospital, which is a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. I learned so many things in the dental practice, but at the same time, it also showed me that dentistry wasn't for me, and you know, medicine was what I really wanted to do. So even though I'd gotten rejected from the 2 universities I mentioned earlier on, I managed to get an interview at Bristol University. So this was about early 2014. It was my first time coming to the UK. The whole experience was a bit daunting. It was the first time doing MMIs, which are multiple mini interviews, which is the way most medical schools do their interviewing process. And I didn't do so well in my interviews, so I didn't get a place. During my AS, I did math, psychology, chemistry, and biology. At the end of my AS, I ended up with 2 A's in math and psychology, and I had a B in chemistry and a C in biology. Those are not really the grades that you take into medicine. I guess this is to show you that even the average students get into medicine. I dropped math after year 12 because it was just so hard, and I decided to continue with psychology, chemistry, and biology, and I ended up with 2 A stars and a B, and I hadn't gotten a place for medicine, so I decided to go and do biomed at the University of Manchester for 3 years. In my 3rd year of biomed, I decided to reapply for medicine. To be honest, at that point in 3rd year, it was either medicine or nothing. I don't think I even had a plan B. I don't even know what would have happened if I didn't get into medicine. Probably would have gone and done a master's and then a PhD and literally just be trying to still get back into medicine. But in the second applications process, when I was in 3rd year, is when I found out about UCLan and Birmingham, and I decided to apply to them because of their increased intake of international students. In addition, after being in university for 3 years, the last thing anyone would want to do is to go to university for 5 more years. So I decided to do a GAMSAT, which is a test that you take if you want to get into graduate entry medicine. So you do end up doing the 4 years of medicine instead of the 5. So the GAMSAT basically tests you in humanities and social science, your written communication, and a science bit, which has biology, chemistry, and physics. So there you go again. You really need physics, guys. Don't make my mistake. So at the end of it, I ended up with a very average GAMSAT. I didn't even bother to apply for a graduate entry medicine, and then I got invited for interviews. Interviews the second time around weren't too bad. I sort of knew what to expect. After it all, I ended up getting a place for medicine at UCLan and Birmingham. So I chose UCLan at the end. That's probably something I'll probably talk about later on. And 2 years and 11 months later, here we are. I'm preparing to get into my 4th year. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. So for now, guys, see you later.